Hello guys, today this is your homie, video game homie, and we will be talking about the Switch 2, the Switch 2. Now, before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe, all that desperate stuff that I will do for a questionable amount of things So, anyways, with that being said, let's just go ahead and talk about the Switch 2. So, we're going to be reading the title here. The Switch 2 may be as powerful as the PS4 and Xbox One, Activision Blizzard executive. So you see there what may be the issue, all right? And now, a lot of you may be like, oh, well, I know what you're about to say, but guess what happened? The Switch was a success. Yeah, but how many times are people really going to buy the same thing with the same issue, all right? How many times, I don't think that Nintendo's going to be able to get away with it as well as they did with the Switch, right? Because the Switch, admittedly, was a more unique concept, and it was a system that people needed, Like, sometimes people can't just sit on a TV, or people don't prefer sitting on just sitting, enjoying a game on their TV. No, some people just want to play on the go, That's why mobile's so popular. But the thing is that, with the issues of the Switch now, and even with games just utilizing the PS4 and Xbox One for now, you see the Switch having a lot of issues. And it's just I don't know, man. I don't know if that's such a good idea. Anyway, let's just move on. Nintendo has been long rumored to be working on a successor to the original Switch handheld console. The next-gen entry is expected to offer a notable bump in performance thanks to the more powerful hardware, but now we need to have a fair idea to just how capable the Switch 2 model may be. The Nintendo Switch 2 could be on the same level as the Xbox One and PS4. Interestingly enough, the information this time around weren't shared by some tipster or an anonymous source. Rather, details comes from Activision Blizzard's CFO, Armin Zerza. Yikes. To elaborate, the executive in an email sent to Nintendo stated that Activision could make something compelling for NG, Next Generation, Switch as well. Apparently, development plans for the new titles for the upcoming Switch 2 model is thanks to the handheld console being closer in performance of Gen 8 platforms. So I think that pretty much confirms what we already been talking about for the beginning of the video, so I don't even know why I read that. But anyways, I will tell you guys this right now. I don't think that this is a good idea for multiple reasons. One, the PS4 and Xbox One are on their way out. I think that's the only reason you need, actually. I don't know why I said multiple reasons. You got to think about it this way. The PS5 and Series X are actually already being utilized. Like they're already not putting games on the Xbox One or PS4. I mean, Spider-Man 2 and Starfield are only coming to Series X, PS5, and PC. There is no Xbox One version or PS4 versions of any of those games. So you need to understand that, that's part of the thing that's happening right now. So if the Switch 2 is going to be as powerful as those consoles, I kind of feel like it's going to come to the party way too little, way too late. And, and Nintendo has nothing but themselves to blame for that. Also, I want to comment on the fact that Nintendo might possibly be making the Switch 2 all digital and not compatible with your physical media on the Switch. That right there is a terrible idea too, but we'll get to that later on. In terms of raw performance, these consoles operated within a performance range of 1.3 teraflops and 1.84 teraflops, FP32, and it featured 8 gigabytes of RAM. However, then the next-gen Switch console could possibly output up to 4 teraflops from its new NVIDIA Tegra 239 processor. This chipset is the customized variant of the Tegra 234 chip that features Team Green's Ampere architecture and 2048 CUDA scores. All right. So we're getting the gist here, right? Like basically, this new Switch 2 will most likely be as powerful as a PS4 or Xbox One, or possibly a PS4 Pro. I doubt One X, but but pretty much this says that I believe that the Switch will be behind yet again, or this next Switch 2 will be behind yet again. Think about it, guys. You know, if the PS5 and Series X get a lot more prevalent with the games being made for them, guess what? That also means that the Switch 2 will be left behind yet again. Or if we even are able to get the games from the PS5 and Series X that are being utilized for those consoles, the problem is that like we're probably gonna have the same problem as the Switch now, where it runs really badly or really poorly, running at 30 or 60, just 30 frames for the most part, right? Why would we want that again? And do you honestly think that the Switch 2 is gonna sell that well? I don't think so. If it's gonna have the same issues as the Nintendo Switch, what makes you think that people are gonna buy the same issue, right? No, I believe that they should put the power between a PS4 Pro and a PS5. In between that, for $400, there you go. You got yourself a seller right there. And not to mention that, like, guess what? That will also improve your first party titles, because people are also starting to see the cracks between those as well. Look, I understand that the Nintendo games are what sells a Nintendo console. True, but what if they actually made third-party games actually sell well on there too? I know, crazy concept, right? If this rumor is true, then the Switch 2 could possibly offer around 10 times the power of its predecessor. Not really that big of a deal. While this is a huge jump over 2 generations, Nintendo hadn't had a Switch series in years, or hasn't updated its Switch series in years, except a light model and an OLED model refresh. So stick around for more, and we will be providing updates, blah, blah, blah. So you guys saw what that, do I even have to explain further what's the issue? Again, that would still not be enough, especially in this upcoming generation. I don't know why Nintendo didn't really make a Switch Pro like we kind of asked for, but, I just wanted to play my older Switch games, but in a more updated format. And the fact that Nintendo didn't really offer that at first was kind of weird. So with that being said, though, I know that the Nintendo fanboys are going to come after me being like, oh, it never mattered about this power for Nintendo, blah, 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 all that stupid stuff. Well, let me refer you back to the 3DS, okay? The 3DS succeeded, right? It did fine. It did well. But you know how much better the DS did? You want to know how much? It sold over 150 million. The 3DS only sold about, a little over 60 million? It did a lot worse than the DS. So even though that I think that this will not exactly kill Nintendo, obviously, it will clearly show that less people will buy it. Sorry to tell you, but this is not a system where they could just release the same thing with the same issues over and over again. This is an iPhone, all right? Got you there, iPhone, or Apple. But yeah, I mean, for God's sakes, you can't just allow a system to have this many issues and then be like, we're just going to release this type of system again. And who knows what their control scheme is going to be, too. I hope it's not going to be the Joy-Cons, too, for the love of God, please. Get rid of those things. Just make it more like those portable PCs, right? That just have much better thumbsticks, buttons, all that. No one cares about splitting the controller and having a gay old time. No one cares about that, okay? So just get rid of those Joy-Cons, please, for the Switch 2. And also, another thing that I want for the Switch 2 that will make me buy it for sure is allow us to have full backwards compatible of Switch games and accessories. You owe us after the disaster that was the Switch, okay? When it had no backwards compatibility with, okay, obviously I understand the Wii U. But the 3DS, there was no excuse. I'm sorry. Yeah, they made the cartridges different. Did they have to, though? Right? Did they really have to? The funny thing is that they could have just made a slightly modified version of the 3DS cart that the Switch games will run on, and then still be able to play 3DS games. It's almost like that's what the 3DS did, right? It had a slightly different version of the DS carts, but obviously the 3DS added a little something so that you won't mistake it for being able to play or a DS being able to play a 3DS game or something like that, right? Obviously. So, they slightly modified it, and it will still backwards compatible with the DS. Why can't Nintendo do the same thing? There's no excuse. And if you honestly, if you guys are thinking that I'm only doing this just to run that 10-minute timeline for a YouTube video, guilty. Anyways, I will have to say that's basically all I have to, say. Just Nintendo fanboys, think about that. You guys are pretty much the reason why Nintendo hasn't improved for the past 10 years. So can you guys please keep your mouths shut for the Switch 2 so it won't be ruined? Thank you. And that's all I have to say, guys. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Toodles.